everything we can see is just a joke, nothing more. Everything we're calling true suddenly will kill ourselves. Goodbye.
Oh boys, you know what this means. Rim time. Oh son. Nope, sit. 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 Shake. Good girl. Oh, we out here. Man, it's colder crap in here. Alright boys, got these things in the garage. Let's take a look and see what we got. Man, I'm excited. Cardboard. Paper. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, son. There you go. These are a 19 by 10.5 plus 22 for the rear. So we'll go over here to see what we got. These are a 19 by 9.5 plus 22 for the front. Now you may be asking yourself, Cousin Sparks, how you supposed to ride around on a fresh set of rimmings with no tires? Well, here's what we got, boys. We got a 285, 35 for the rear. We got a 255, 40 for the front. Set of Cooper G1s. Alright. Let me get out all this mess. First thing you should do when you get a new set of wheels, before you mount any tires on, because once you mount the tires on these wheels are yours no matter what. So, the first thing you need to check is fitment. You need to make sure that they fit your lug pattern. You need to make sure that they fit your hub bore. Let me show you what I mean. Anyways, so lug pattern is the pattern that your lug nuts are in. On 370Z, these are 5 for 5 lug nuts at 114.3. That's the space in between. Most, American stuff, that'll be 5 by 4.5, 5 by 5. When you get up in 6 lug, it'll be 6 by whatever. S14s, 240s, the 5 lug S14s, anything 5 lug Nissan's basically 5 by 114.3. Now, when you get into the old, like S13, stuff like that, they're 4 by 114.3. Like your Honda, stuff like that, 4 by 100, 5 by 100. BMW is 5 by 120. Okay, that's what I mean when I say lug pattern. What I mean when I say hub bore is the bore of the hub. I'll go ahead and I'm going to get this thing jacked up. We'll get this wheel off and I'll explain that further. Okay, now that we've got the wheel off, just like I said, you've got your lug pattern, bolt to bolt. You have your hub bore, which is this lip right here, the size of this lip. Now this lip will set back in the center of this wheel. If your hub bore is too small, then your wheel, when you tighten your wheel up, it won't center on, the rotor. If it's too big, they make what they call a hub-centric ring, which is most likely what we'll have to have. So, let's test fit these fronts. See what they look like. Awesome. So, one big issue that you need to check is clearance between your brake caliper. When you go with a lot shallower offset of the wheel, it'll move this part of the wheel back toward the caliper, and that's where you'll have a lot of rubbing. You're in offsets, you need to check between your control arm and the back of your wheel. Then we can spin it, make sure we don't have any rubbing at all. And our hub bore is good. How you make sure that your hub bore is good? The back side of your wheel, where it meets your rotor, should be flush. There should not be any space. If there's space, then most likely you're hitting something, and if you try to tighten it up like that, you'll either crack the wheel or you'll never get them to stay tight. You'll drive down the road and they'll loosen up on you, and that's no fun. Something else you want to check is poke or fitment. As you can see, we're going to have some poke. I mean, it's kind of aggressive for this. We're going to have a little poke. The poke is how much the wheel sits outside the car. On all independent front end stuff other than trucks, whenever I lower this down, it's naturally going to have a little bit of camber. Now, we're not going to go crazy with camber, but we will have some. So, all the front seems to be good. I'm pretty happy with the fitment. Now, we need to put the XXR back on the front of this thing. and test fit one of the rears. Alright dudes, just like with the front, we're going to do the same with the rear. Let's get these lug nuts off here. Let's get these rears test fitted. So, these seem to fit pretty well. I mean, almost completely and totally flush, which is awesome. You've got just the smallest bit of poke. Absolutely. So let's talk about offset. What is offset? What offset do I need? How do I decide? Things like that. So let's take the XXR. I think these are a 17 by 10. And they're I think they're close to a 0. What offset, some people call it back spacing, is how far this face of the wheel is in relation to the barrel, which is the round part of the wheel. So if you got a 0 offset, that means this face of the wheel should be in the center of the barrel. Okay, if you get a negative offset, it'll move this space back toward the inside of the car. So if you got a negative offset, you'll have a real big lip, like this. If you got a positive offset, this lip will get smaller, and essentially the whole wheel and tire combination will sit closer under the car. So this is, pretty close to flush. But what do you want? Do you want it set out further? Do you want it set in further? What's the best? Well, for my combination, this is going to be a daily driver car. So I don't want a lot of poke. I don't want to have to roll my fenders. I don't want, super camber to shred $1,000 worth of tires in a week. I want a decent offset with a decent lip that's going to drive and perform well, but being in KY, the potholes are bigger than the apartments. So I need a little bit of cushion, and that's why I went with a larger aspect ratio on tires. What is aspect ratio, and how do you get aspect ratio? Alright, so these are a 285, 35, 19. Of course, the 19 is the size of the wheel, which is the center hole in the tire. 285 is the width of the tire, or how wide it is from here to here, right? So the aspect ratio is essentially the sidewall size. So to get that, 35 is a percent of 285. Because a 295 or a 305 35 is going to have a taller sidewall than what a 285 35 is. This aspect ratio is a percentage of the width. And that's what aspect ratio is. But we're looking really good as far as our fitment goes. We're going to get these back off the car, get them boxed up. I've got an appointment in the morning. Going to drop them off on my way to work, pick them up on my way home. We'll get all 4 of them on the car, shoot some cinematics, let you guys see what they look like. So, we'll see you guys in the morning.